yung magiging bahagi nila.
Let's see. Fix that.
Alrighty.
Trying to get it to project on here because it's not wanting to actually cooperate today.
Oh, no.
I think it's because of the doggone updates we had.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Technology, right?
See, at least I know. Protection settings.
Oh.
Nope. Type today.
So do you know what their homework was from last week?
No, I do not know. I would have to actually look that up.
Okay. Look and see what I find.
Hmm,
Oh, how are you so bad? My eyes are just running.
Multiple displays. Show only on one.
Start with
That
lights on. Yeah, you did it. Good job. Oh, we've already got people on here.
Yes, we do.
Let's read.
Oh, shoot. No. It's not do what I wanted. Because you can't see what I'm doing on here. So duplicate, extend. I don't have multiple displays. That's my problem.
Okay. There's the homework. Okay.
What did it just do? There it goes. This is why I hate updates.
I know. Feel like you have to reinvent the wheel.
Exactly. Bear with us, guys. I'm trying to get it to actually project on our screen here. Escape, display graphics, scale, HDR, memory, brightness. Detected with display. 3D display. Minimize windows when monitor is detected. Remember Windows location.
Well, you had it up there.
Yeah, but it was only showing the desktop. Show only on one, extend one on three. Dang it.
Okay, now I see something.
It's still saying that there is an extra display that it's detecting, and that's why I'm confused because there's no other display that's being detected. Or there's no other display to detect. Duplicate or extend. That's what I want. I want to duplicate.
Okay.
Duplicate desktop on 1 and 3. Extend on one.
Justin's asking me exciting questions.
Who?
Justin Wright Myers, the buyer.
Okay, I might just. Okay, 1/3. That's what it's saying. So that one must be 2. Yep, that one's number 2. I got an idea. Okay. Re-plug in. Yeah, it's still saying that there are 3 screens. Darn it, I thought you were Tabitha. We have a computer problem.
He doesn't look like Tabitha.
Are you smart on computers? It's telling me that there are 3 screens being detected. And there's only 2. And I don't know Windows 11 yet, because it just came out.
Okay, so I bet it's saying that the projector is,
It's number 3.
okay,
I figured that one out. But I don't know where number 2 is coming from. Because number 2, when I click the identify button, it comes up this.
then it comes up this. these two.
Wait, how did you fix it? Wait a minute.
Oh, it
What?
is-
It is fixed.
It is fixed.
Oh my
Okay,
God.
so close this, just minimize,
There you go.
minimize.
I don't know what you did. You
Well,
literally put the fear of God into it.
So if you click 2 and then identify, it'll automatically bring it up. So
You put the fear of God into it. Just admit it.
I didn't
You
do
put the
that.
fear of God into
All
it.
right, I love it.
All right. So let's see here. Good morning, everybody in KW world. I am so sorry for the technical difficulties. We are still getting used to all the updates we've had.
Well, thank God for Carrie, because I would have screwed it up even worse.
Let's see.
I love teaching, but I'm terrible at tech.
All right.
Let's see, who do we have?
We have, let's see, Melissa Reed. We have KW Synergy, Kylena, Jamie. I'm gonna say this wrong. Sanrio, Patrick, and Jason so far.
San Rio is that's our cyberbacker, right?
Yeah.
Welcome, everybody. All right.
Oh, we might not be able to hear you again. Hold on. This is why I did not leave the computer yet, because I wanted to make sure all of the technical difficulties were solved, because we had the same exact problem last time.
No audio?
I just can't hear them, and I know how to fix it this time.
Okay.
Okay, can someone please use your microphone and let me know if we can hear you?
We're good.
Yes, good
I fixed
job.
it. I knew, because I memorized it from the team meeting we had.
Wow.
We had that same exact problem. Rachel brought it to my attention, and this time I remembered how to fix it.
All right,
So-
so how do they see me?
So we're gonna just turn this so that
Okay.
you're gonna be able to walk around and the microphone can pick up people all the way in the back, because I just tested it.
Awesome.
So if we have questions in the back, yes, you will have to speak louder. And I'm gonna go rally the troops and get them to come in here.
Okay, great. So Antonio said he had a phone call. So welcome, everybody. Good morning.
Everybody else.
Okay. All right, as we get started, I just want to introduce myself and say hello to everybody here in person and on Zoom. My name is Sue Parrish, and I have been licensed for a lot of years. I was just out of kindergarten when I got my real estate license, just kidding. And I am excited to be here to help teach defining your value. So who do I have in the room so far?
Brad.
Brad?
Yep.
Nice to meet you.
Meet you.
Are you here in this office?
Yes.
Are you a standalone agent or on a team? With whose team?
Job.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful, trailblazing. All right, so I am licensed over 30 years. I'm part of a family team. my husband and my daughter and myself. And I got in business just out of graduating from The Ohio State University in public relations and marketing. I worked for custom home builders, and I did that until my daughter was born. And then I headed up the new homes division for a large independent real estate company called King Thompson Realtors. Subsequently, 20 plus years later, they got bought by Coldwell Banker. And I knew, my husband and I knew it just was no longer a fit. The company was no longer what we had joined and felt a part of. So I kept hearing Keller Williams. And so looked into it a little bit, met with the regional owner, Linda McKissick, and determined that that was kind of the path I wanted to go down. And so my husband and I are investors. I started the Upper Arlington office, Keller Williams Classic Properties, and then I took over the Dublin office, Keller Williams Consultants Realty, in 2005. And 2017, I opened this office, and then, no, 2013, I opened this office. In 2017, I opened the Grove City office. The awesome thing about Keller Williams is if you are interested in different levels of leadership, opportunity, or sales, or any combination of any of the above, you can just jump right in and raise your hand. So I was at one time operating partner of 4 offices, and I have replaced myself with Kelly Ann here and Dana Gentry in Dublin and Anna McKissick in Upper Arlington. And I folded my Grove City office, Keller Williams Premier Realty, into Keller Williams Consultants just in December. So I remain an avid investor, teacher, mentor, and coach in all of the offices, 4 of the 6 offices here in Central Ohio. And I just really, and I remain an investor, but I'm not the operating partner anymore. So I get to coach and teach and give back, and I love it. So welcome everybody to session number 4 of Ignite, Define Your Value. So who can tell me, did anybody do their homework? I'm sure everybody did, right? Can anybody speak up on Zoom if you did your homework and what successes you had? Are you guys doing the daily 10-4? Now, don't all speak at once. Did anybody have any success with their homework? All right, everybody on Zoom and everybody here in the classroom, stand up. I want you to stand up right now. Everybody stand up, get out of your chairs and stand up. Thank you, and repeat after me. My success in real estate.
My success in real estate.
Is, oh gosh, wait.
Gotta get the slide.
All right, they're all standing. It is in, okay, my success in real estate
My success in real estate.
is in direct proportion to
Is in direct proportion to.
number of people who
Number of people who.
arms straight out, when they think of real estate, they think of me.
When they think of real estate, they think of me.
Okay, so my success in real estate is in direct proportion to.
Oh,
the
arms
number of
straight out. I
people
said they are
When
straight
they
out.
think of real estate, they think of me. So this is why you should do your homework. The daily 10-4, go meet 10 people every day. Don't be a secret agent. Go ahead and sit down. Thank you very much for participating. But you know what? Real estate is a contact sport. You have to contact people, and they need to know that you're in real estate and that you're a real estate consultant, not a salesperson. You're not going to sell them anything. Hopefully that's the end game, right? But your success in real estate is in direct proportion to the number of people who, when they think of real estate, they think of you. I want people to call me to say, I need to replace my windows. I need to get new kitchen cabinets. What color doorknobs should I get? I want them to pick up the phone and call me. So today, I guess I will harp on that a little bit. Your homework is there for a reason. We want to create raving fans and customers for life. That's the goal. That's the end game of real estate. Having been in this business over 35 years, my daughter is now working with the grandchildren of people I sold homes to 30 years ago. That's pretty cool, right? All right, so today we're going to define your value. And there are, in central Ohio, I don't know about Kentucky, you guys can tell me, but in central Ohio, there are about 10,000 realtors. Did you guys know that? In the Columbus Association of Realtors, there are almost 10,000 realtors. Why should somebody work with you? Why? Does anybody have an answer?
Charming personality.
Your charming personality, okay, and another reason is
You put in the work. You put in the work, you stay in touch with them, you fill them in.
build those relationships, stay in touch, become the market expert, tell them, define the market, tell them what's going on in the real estate industry, right? If you're knowledgeable about today's real estate market, I don't know about you guys, but how long have you been in business? Right,
2 weeks,
2 weeks,
about a month and a half.
6-7 months.
all right,
We will have a guest speaker at 12 o'clock that will come in. So
wonderful.
anybody that wants to be here for that guest speaker online, you never know, it may relate to you as well.
That's awesome. Who is it, Carrie?
It is Brian, and I'm gonna say his last name wrong, Knapp,
Okay,
I think. He actually spoke at our team meeting, so a lot of the
Oh,
people
Brian Knapp.
here.
Brian Knapp,
Okay,
Silent K.
Yeah.
Brian Knapp, he's with you.
he's
Yeah.
with
Citizens.
Citizens Home Mortgage, I think
Yeah,
is what it's
Citizens
called.
Home Mortgage. So everybody online, if you'd like to stay and join us for our noon guest speaker, we have Brian Knapp with Citizens Home Mortgage. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started on today's agenda. And today we're gonna be talking about defining your value. What defines you and sets you apart? What is the reason why somebody should pick up the phone and call you to deliver the market snapshot of what the market, of what's happening in the real estate market? Why should they use you? It's like, they have so many choices. Everybody has 10, excuse me, my allergies are awful. They have 10,000 people to choose from. Why should they choose you? So by the end of today, you will be equipped to define the meaning of a value proposition. Explain the benefits of creating personalized value proposition. Describe what buyers and sellers value the most in their real estate experience. So to start thinking about what you're going to learn today, let's consider reasons we might have and what we would like to learn more about. So we're not going to break into groups because we've condensed this class a little bit. So we're not going to do group breakouts, but we are going to work on, hello, Mr. Obi, how are you?
Hello, good, I'm coming.
Good. All right, so we're gonna talk about, I'm sorry, your first name?
Mark.
Mark said, what do I bring to the table? That's what they care about. Picture everybody with a placard on their chest that says WIFM, what's in it for me to work with you? Why should I work with you? When you go to choose a doctor, a financial planner, a bank, whatever, dentist, why do you choose the professional that you choose? So you have to think of yourself as a business owner, whether you're part of a team or a standalone agent, it doesn't matter. You are a business owner. And why should somebody want to work with you? So, it took me a little while. I thought it was all about me, right? Like I had to be the very best I needed to be. No, what I needed to do is provide to my client or my suspect, right? They're not a prospect until they become a client. Whoops. There's a lock somewhere that locks that, so it won't do that. Anyway, so a suspect is somebody that may or may not use you as a real estate consultant, right? And they don't become a client until they become a prospect. And how they become a prospect is through defining your value. If you can define your value and set yourself apart from the rest, because guess what, guys, when you hold an open house, do you think buyers and sellers are really coming to look at the house? 9 times out of 10, they're coming to look at you. They're coming to decide if they like you and they want to work with you. Now, depending on the generation, the age of the suspect, right? They may or may not ask friends or family members who they use to buy or sell a home. They may go on Yelp. They may go on realtor.com. They may call the Columbus Board of Realtors and say, I want to work with a real estate consultant. Who should I work with? And they're not just going to give out names willy-nilly, right? So a lot of times people actually shop open houses to look for a real estate consultant that they want to entrust their largest home purchase or home sale with. So defining your value proposition is so important, and it can change over the years as well. So when I first got into real estate, I remember thinking, I just want to sell really expensive houses because I'll make a lot more money if I sell really expensive houses. Well, back in the 80s, really expensive houses were $200,000 and $300,000. And so I just wanted to sell a lot of $200,000 and $300,000 houses because I thought I would make a lot more money, right? 3% times 200,000 was a lot more than a first-time home buyer house back in the 80s when I got my license, which was a $50,000 house. And I thought, I want to make that big money like all those realtors that have been in the business for 15, 20, 25 years, right? Well, guess what? My clients defined where I worked. My clients defined that I was probably at 23 years old, newly licensed in the $50,000 to $70,000 price range. And I was just fine with that. I cut my teeth on that and I realized the platinum rule, and this is fairly new. You guys know what the golden rule is, right? What's the golden rule? Can somebody?
Do unto others as you would like them to do unto
Exactly,
you.
Buffy. Thank you. Do unto others as you would have done unto you. The platinum rule came out in the early 1990s. Can you tell me what that one is, Buffy?
Do unto others as you would, as they would like to be.
That's exactly right.
Treat them the way they want to be treated.
Treat others the way they want to be treated. So if they're walking around with a big placard poster on their chest that says with them, what's in it for me? You need to define and answer the question, what's in it for them? So when I sit down with a buyer or a seller, and I say on a scale of 1 to 10, if we had an amazing experience buying or selling a real estate, a home, what would this transaction look like to be a 10? On a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being phenomenal, out of the, over the moon, amazing experience, what would that look like? It doesn't matter what it would look like to you. It matters what it would look like to them. They'll find out what people want and go get it for them. Now, there's a saying, buyers are liars, right? Does that mean that people are untruthful? No, it means they don't know what they want. Until you can define exactly what they want. So Mark, can I have permission to role play with you?
Yes.
Wonderful. So let's say you're my buyer client. We're sitting down in a buyer consultation and I say, so Mark, what's the most important thing on a scale of 1 to 10 that your next home has in it?
Privacy.
Privacy. Wonderful. Tell me more about that. What does that look like to you?
I'd like to be able to walk out in the backyard in my underwear and. and
Oh
have-
boy, we went down the path. No.
Well, no, but it's like, I just sold a house that was very private. So
Okay.
my next home, even though I like different things, is I want that privacy to where you can walk out back and feel like, or whether it's out front or outside, whatever that is.
Yeah.
And feel like this is your own little oasis.
Love it, love it. Wonderful. So does that mean that you're looking for a home that's not necessarily in a subdivision with neighbors right next door?
It depends. It depends on, because I lived in a subdivision that felt that way in back. You walk out front, it was a different story. You walk out back and I had a 6-foot privacy fence,
Okay.
mature trees, a big pool.
Yeah.
And the whole,
And the neighbors were still 20 feet away,
right.
but they
You
didn't see you.
It
in your
was a
underwear.
mature neighborhood, so they weren't 10 feet away or 5 feet away like
Awesome.
some of them, but yes.
Awesome. So the whole time I'm asking him questions, I'm taking notes. I'm writing down on my piece of paper on a scale of 1 to 10, because might I not sell him a home in the next 2 weeks? It could be 2 months or 2 years that he actually finds that perfect home. And if I didn't take notes and listen and ask great questions, I won't find him his dream home. But I had this happen the other day. Somebody called me and said, okay, my 26-year-old child just got engaged and he and his fiance want to buy a house. And I don't know if you work with buyers anymore, Sue. And honestly, defining my value now at this stage in my game, I will only work with $500,000 or higher buyers. And I will only work with people with credit scores of 700 or more and 20% down. Otherwise, my husband and my daughter get to work with them. And I don't mean that to discriminate. I've just earned the right? And so I'm very choosy. I may sell 6 to 10 buyers a home this year. I list houses. I just listed $2.5 million houses. My biggest listings ever. I'm so excited. You guys bring me your high-end buyers. One's in Lancaster and one's in Dublin.
Sue, teach us how to have.
Well, okay, just be a realtor for 30 plus years. Because both of them, one, I sold the house on Riverside Drive in Dublin 27 years ago. And the other one was 34, Christy's 34 years ago. 3 months after Christy was born, I got a phone call from a guy who said, "Hi, my name's Bill, and I just graduated from West Virginia University in construction management, and I moved to Columbus with my bride, and I want to be a custom home builder." 34 years ago. Y'all know Bill Crum with American Heritage Homes. Bill and Gary Libertini are partners, and they own American Heritage. I just listed Bill's house. I met him 34 years ago. That's how you list a $2.5 million house. And I stayed in touch with him. I defined my value by staying in touch with people, right? And I've become for, you know, a large portion of my database, hopefully, most of our business comes from our past clients and referrals. And I don't know what your goal is, anybody in the room, if you buy leads, that's great for you. I've never bought a lead in my life. I get referrals and have to pay a referral fee from somebody in Kalamazoo because I met him at the Keller Williams convention 2 years ago or 3 years ago or 20 years ago. No, 19. I've been at Keller Williams 19 years. Can you believe that? Anyway, defining your value proposition is up to you, but your clients will help you shape your value proposition. You will feel more comfortable with one segment of the market or 2 or 5 segments of the market. We work with some investors, not a lot. I do a little bit of commercial. I dabble a little bit in commercial. That's not a great thing unless you're really comfortable, but I've helped pastors find churches because I'm Christian. I go to church and I can speak the speak and walk the walk. And I'm not an expert, but I've helped sell churches and buy churches before, apartment complexes to investors. So defining your value proposition isn't necessarily the segment of the market that you work with, but it is who you are, who you represent. And if you go into the business wanting just make a lot of money, that's the wrong reason. If you want to go into the business of real estate to help change people's lives, because the reasons why people buy and sell homes don't change, right? There's generally a birth, a death, a marriage, a divorce, a job loss, a job gain, a lottery win. I sold a guy $800,000 house when he won the lottery. A Columbus police officer won the lottery in 1989, and I sold him a big old $500,000 house in 1989, which, think about it, in today's terms, probably like $1.5 million, right? And he lost his house because he spent all his money on the house and whatever crazy stuff, and he lost the house because he got a mortgage and he couldn't make his payments after he won the lottery, and now he's back to being just a Columbus police officer. And that's great. Yes.
That's a quick question.
Yeah.
So how does the market speak when you say that I've earned the right to have this particular client,
Right.
type of client?
Right.
How do you know when you've earned it, when you've earned the right versus, hey, I'm being persistent, I keep sending out material, I keep sending out my advertising, I'm making my calls, blah, blah, blah. There's a point in which the market tells you this is what type of agent you are, or this is based off of your experience or whatever it is.
Yeah.
How do you know when the market speaks to you? How do you know when
That's
that?
a great question, Obi. Did you guys hear him online on Zoom? Obi asked the question, how do you know when the market defines you? How do you know the market that you're going to, the pool you're going to play in, the sandbox you're going to play in? Like I said, I wanted to sell really expensive houses when I was 23 years old. Well, guess what, guys? Have you met my daughter? I mean, when I was 23, I looked about 17, and I was not credible to sell anything more than $50,000 to $70,000 houses. And so the market defined me after I decided to play in new construction, right? So I specialized in new construction because I came from new home selling and worked for custom home builders. And so for a period of about 15 to 20 years, that was my niche, was new construction. High-end golf course, Dublin, that was my niche. And a little bit Westerville and Delaware, Southern Delaware County. I apologize again, my allergies are terrible. So the market will define you. I mean, if you want, do you guys need participant guides?
No, I'm gonna use a tissue.
Oh, you're so sweet, thank you. Buffy's gonna get me a tissue because this one's like soaking. Anyway, your market, that's a great question, Obi. Your market will define you. You can jump into and become the market expert. I have a complaint about Keller Williams. Don't tell anybody. Don't tell- On Zoom, I have a complaint. Keller Williams has too much because there's something for everybody, right? Some people want to specialize in foreclosures. Some people want to specialize in investment properties. Some people want to specialize in churches. Whatever you want to do, Keller Williams has it for you. Online, Keller Williams University, KWU, what am I missing? Productivity coaching, Josh, his program that he runs here, and there's so much, and it's because we can be all things to all people. But if you try to be all things to all people, you will fail. So have you heard the saying, Jack, all trades, master of none? Don't do that. I've been there, done that, and it's not fun. So specialize in something, but your market will define you ultimately, Opie. I guess is the best answer for you. Yeah, so when you start, like, let's say I want to do sports and entertainment, and I'm gonna work with football players, hockey players, and I'm gonna work, thank you. I'm gonna work with people in the sports industry, and I'm gonna pick them up in a big old limousine from the airport, and I'm gonna have a hockey player, I'm gonna pick up a hockey player, I'm gonna bring a hockey player with me, so he can speak with him or her. I don't think there's any national hockey female players, but I just thought I'd equal opportunity. Anyway, so your market will define you. You can say, I want to sell X price houses. I want to sell to hockey players. I want to sell to football players, whatever you want. And you can try and jump into that pool. But there's a saying, others have lived before you. Go follow other people who are really successful in that niche or that arena, that area of expertise. Does that make sense? Good. All right. So your value proposition is a unique, memorable, and persuasive statement that expresses the true value of working with you. What's in it for me? What's that answer? What's in it for me? Your value proposition addresses the specific needs. Oh, I'm supposed to be advancing this, aren't I? Oh, sure.
You might have to point
I'm just here.
Carrie.
All right, guys. I love teaching, but boy, the techno stuff, Oh, there we go.
So down here at the bottom,
It's what?
down there at the bottom. Right there.
Got it. Thank you. Thanks, Josh. All right. So you've already been through spark your career, embrace your job, connect with your market. Today, we're defining the value. So what matters to buyers and sellers? Kind of the platinum rule that we talked about. Let's go find out what people want and let's go get it for them. And the only way to do that is 100% of the time. And guys, it's not that I'm a slow learner. It's that every relationship I build with a new buyer or seller, I have to sit down and do a full in-depth consultation with. I need to find out what they want, what's important to them. So if Mark would have said the most important thing was a gourmet kitchen, I'm picturing my idea of a gourmet kitchen in my mind. It doesn't matter what's in my mind. It's what's in his mind. What's your gourmet kitchen? And always when they try and put the flashlight or the spotlight on you, always turn it back to them. It's about them. It's not about you. So when I'm defining a great buyer or seller consultation, I'm finding out about them. I'm asking great questions. I'm taking notes. I'm asking tie down questions like, tell me more about that, Brad. What's important to you about that, Brad? If I couldn't get you that gourmet kitchen with the cherry cabinets, what would be your second best gourmet kitchen cabinet finish? You know, and taking notes and really staying on track and making it all about them. Does that make sense? All right. So here we are. A value proposition also states what you will do for your client to earn the commission. We don't get paid till we go to a closing, right? You don't get any awards or prizes for showing the most amount of houses to a buyer, right? So don't tell me you worked with somebody for 2 years and showed them 200 houses and made 17 offers, because it doesn't matter. Guess what? Don't figure your hourly dollar rate, because it's pretty bad. A value proposition holds you accountable to high standards. So our value proposition, our logo slogan on the Parish team, and this really is very, very simple, but it took me 10, 15 years to get to my value proposition slogan. We are in the quality of life business. We just happen to sell houses. That's my slogan. We're in the quality of life business, because the reasons why people buy and sell don't change. If there's a divorce, is that a sad or a happy situation?
Depends.
It could be either, right? Good answer, Mark. It could be either. And we just actually closed last week on one where the husband didn't even know his wife was not happy. All of a sudden, he gets an email from her. Hi, sorry, I've moved to Thailand. Sell the house. They had no kids, thank God. Sell the house, send me my proceeds, and send my furniture to my parents. That was the email he got. He was at work one day. Wife emails and says, hi, I've moved out. I'm in Thailand. Although he really didn't even know she moved out. She left 90% of her shoes, 90% of her purses. She took a small suitcase and a purse and went to Thailand, where she followed some guy. You just never know. But this poor guy,
Is this like 90 Day Fiance or something?
Yeah, it's something like that. no, they've been married 20 years. But he's in tears every day. He calls my husband every single day. I don't know why she left me. I can't believe she left me. So we just sold them this house like 3 or 4 years ago. And that was $650,000 house. And we closed on it last week. And the poor guy's in tears every day. Now my husband's trying to fix him up with one of my girlfriends. Oh my gosh, it's going to be a disaster. But anyway, he's in tears every day. So is that a sad situation? Was that an awkward situation that we had to navigate the waters through, this woman being 13 hours time difference in Thailand and a guy here who can't pick up the phone without crying? We had to navigate that situation on an even playing field, treating both parties the same. But that's a really real situation. But having to relate to them is not, it's not easy, right? But sitting down and doing an in-depth consultation with them together, right, on Zoom, 13 hours apart, was difficult. But we asked what was the most important thing to get it done as quickly as possible, the least amount of hassle. I mean, the same stuff that every seller says, but the circumstances are different. So meeting them where they are is huge. All right. Top agents can easily explain what services they will provide to anyone who hires them. That's what Gary Keller says. But there's 10,000 realtors in Central Ohio. Somebody on Zoom in Kentucky, tell me how many realtors are in your board. Unmute yourself and tell me how many realtors are in your board.
Sorry, I had to find the mouse. In our HCAR board, we have 343, I believe. I may be off by a few in our HCAR board.
343. Wow. So you
Yep.
guys,
So that's in Hardin County. That's in Hardin
Okay.
County. In the Louisville board, we have like a couple thousand.
Okay, great. So whether your board is 343 in Hardin County or 10,000 in Central Ohio, you have to define your value proposition, because everybody knows 7 realtors. I think that's a National Association of Realtors statistic. Everybody knows 7 realtors, right? But they might be part-time, they might be a full-time school teacher or a full-time stay-at-home mom or dad, and they're a part-time realtor. How do you shine above those other 342 or 9,999? How do you stand apart? So top agents can easily define. Guys, you learned about the 80-20 rule, Pareto principle last week. in the first session of Ignite. What is the 80-20 rule?
20% of realtors do 80% of business.
Yeah, it's more like the 90-10, but don't tell anybody outside these four walls. It's the 90-10 rule. 10% of realtors sell 90% of the homes. And why do you think that is?
Because the 10% or 20% are doing the work. They're meeting their clients, they're doing their touches, they're listening. And,
Right.
I mean, they've made it a mission to do whatever their why is.
There you go. What's their why? If you can't define or articulate your why, then you cannot define your value proposition, right? What is in it for me to work with you as my real estate consultant? The other thing is, you know, that commercial for the financial person that says, we don't win till you win, right? I forget the name of the company, but I love it. There's this gal on there that says, we're a fiduciary. What's fiduciary? What's
Looks out for your best interest.
exactly somebody that looks out for their best interest, not their best interest, but your best interest. Be a fiduciary real estate consultant and you will rise to the top. You will become one of the top 10%. So the benefits of having a value proposition is it helps your clients understand your value and your expertise. It protects your commission, right? Because if they don't understand how to work with you, which 90% of the people, 95% of people don't understand how we get paid, right? Because we don't explain it to them. Shame on us for not explaining it to them. And also benefits of a value proposition is it builds strong and trusting and long-lasting relationships. You want to have clients for life and you want to have raving fans. So again, I didn't put my name badge on today. Shame on me. Always wear your name badge. I've picked up more people in the grocery line at Kroger and Giant Eagle because I have my name badge on. People, oh, you're in real estate. I live on Main Street. Did you see the new listing that came up on Main Street this morning? I did, because I get the hot sheet every day, which means I look at new listings every day. Off the top of my head, I can't think what that price was. Do you have a business card? This is part of the daily 10-4. Excuse me. Do you have a business card? Let me unload my groceries when I get home and I'll shoot you an email with a copy of that listing. Do you think somebody I apologize. It usually takes 3 hours till my Claritin kicks in this time of year. But would that be impressive if somebody was standing in front of you in line and turned around and saw your real estate name badge and ask you a question about a new listing on their, excuse me. All right. Here are examples of value proposition. Airbnb. Airbnb exists to create a world where anyone can belong anywhere, providing healthy travel that's local, authentic, diverse, inclusive, and sustainable. There are people that just specialize in working with Airbnb clients. Walmart. Walmart is still number one. Walmart is number one. Whether you like Walmart or not, Walmart is, I live in London, Ohio. I moved to a small town after living in, you guys live in London too?
My dad lives on Lake Choctaw, don't you?
Oh, that's
So,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that, didn't I? Yeah, I live on a lake. So after I got out of being the operating partner of multiple Keller Williams offices, and I didn't have to be at the office every day. And then 3 months before COVID, I finished remodeling my house on Choctaw Lake and moved in full time. So I live 30 miles from here, 35 miles from here. But I don't specialize in Choctaw Lake. I've run into some business out there. There's now a house on our lake. Do you know this? That's on the market for $2,950,000.
Yeah.
$2,950,000. Alan Homewood invented the shopping cart.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah,
too, like
yeah.
online shopping cart.
They're friends of ours, actually. I hope they get it because that means my house will be over $1 million. I love it. All right, Walmart. But Walmart is the only place to get groceries besides Kroger in London, Ohio. There's Walmart and there's Kroger. That's it. Slack. Kellyanne uses Slack. I don't get that stuff. I'm too old. Slack makes it downright pleasant to work together. Grammarly, QuickBooks, State Farm. It doesn't matter what you want to specialize in. Go find out about something. become an expert in it, know everything about it, and specialize. Connect to your value. Keller Williams in the market center value. What is the value that Keller Williams brings to you? Throw out some things, guys. What's that? Command. Command.
Strength in name and branding. you know,
Brand.
Just the brand alone has significant strength, especially for us newer folks in
Right.
the industry.
Right.
It's not like we're working for, some small little broker somewhere.
Mom
not
and
to
pop.
Pick on them,
Right.
but when they see the logo,
Right.
they know exactly who we are. There's no question.
Absolutely, the value prop. It was Keller who 19 years ago when I joined it. King Thompson and HER Realtors were the be all and end all in Central Ohio. And I'd never heard of Keller Williams, but I was looking for something different, something new. And I wanted something with deep foundational roots and foundational principles. So when I heard about the Y4C2Ts and the win-win or no deal, integrity, do the right thing, when I learned those foundational models, and then a company that says God, then family, or faith, then family, then business, wow, that was huge. I look at this wall here, we have the bold laws on this wall. I love a company that is not afraid to say what they stand for, right? And the culture of this company is the reason I stay. It's why I came and why I stay. And when I heard Linda McKissick say, what's your value proposition at Coldwell Banker, King Thompson? I went, value proposition? I have no idea. She goes, oh, that's okay. She goes, what's your mission statement? Now I'm really embarrassed. I have no idea what Coldwell Banker's mission statement was. She goes, oh, that's okay. She goes, ours is to have careers worth having, businesses worth owning, and lives worth living. The hair stood up on the back of my neck. I got goosebumps all over my body and went, wow, that's freaking awesome. And now it's and to have legacies worth leaving and to have experiences worth giving. They added those two in the last couple of years. That's pretty cool. A company that actually says faith, then family, then business, and a company that says we are here to create careers worth having, businesses worth owning, and lives worth living. Guys, do what you do because you love what you do, not for the money. That's defining your value proposition. This company has profoundly changed my life and my family's life in so many ways that ultimately also leads to financially. This company has changed my life profound. This month, what are we in? May? April, my profit sharing was just under $5,000. That's just from being an agent and knowing a lot of people and having a lot of people say Chip and Sue Parrish are the reason I joined Keller Williams. Whether it's in Central Ohio, Brazil, Sweden, England, or Florida, it doesn't matter, because I had a conversation with somebody and they said they joined Keller Williams because of us. That's cool. All right, there's that word, fiduciary. Go do something for the right reason, for the right people, and change their lives. And through real estate, you change a lot of lives. Do you think my guy who cries to my husband every day is getting happier every day because he no longer owns a home with the wife who doesn't want to be his wife anymore? He's happier every day because that chapter has moved on. We've sold that house. He's now moved into a smaller house and he's going to get happier because that chapter is over. So the reasons why people buy and sell don't change. And then market expert, tell me, how do you become a market expert?
You gotta do your homework.
Do your homework. What's that mean?
Well, you gotta do your re-educate yourself, continually educate yourself on what's going on. Talk to people like you, talk to people like other agents.
Right.
I mean, there's so many different things, but sometimes it's overwhelming a little bit, but I try to learn a little something.
Can
new
you
every
guys
day.
on Zoom hear him? How do you become a market expert? Study, learn, read, talk to people. Antonio.
I was just gonna say, I think that is what makes the 90-10 or 80-20. I think it's that.
Bingo.
That does it, because people who don't do it full time, not that that's a bad thing,
Right.
maybe lose out on like
Yeah.
the cutting edge of how do I get a buyer contract in this market, or how do I list correct, like I think
Multiple
that's what
offers.
makes the big difference.
Yeah. Exactly. I love that. Become the market expert, understand how to articulate the cliff notes that come over monthly in your Columbus Realtors, or Hardin Realtors. You guys probably have the same thing. On the front page of our Columbus Realtors MLS, it tells us what's going on in the market. What's happening? When somebody says, when's this bubble gonna burst? You guys get that question all the time right now? Are we in a bubble? I don't think we're in a bubble. I think we're going into a recession. How do gas prices and increased interest rates affect the housing market? Does it affect the housing market? You betcha. How does what's going on in the world? I mean, the market is changing daily. Anybody have a stock portfolio? Anybody crying right now about their stock portfolio? Thank God I'm not that old. I don't need it yet. Anyway, when you understand the real estate market, then you really can articulate that and become a fiduciary real estate consultant, not a salesperson. Are you a real estate salesperson? No, take that out of your vocabulary. You are a fiduciary consultant. You're going to go apply the platinum rule to everybody. You're going to find out what people want. You're going to go get it for them. But the only way you can do that is if you become a real estate fiduciary consultant and know the market, learn the market, know it. All right. So, okay. I think we've beat that dead horse. All right. So what matters to buyers and sellers? Buyers want to find the right home at the best price in the right time with the least number of problems. How easy is that right now in this market?
It's like playing yard darts.
It's like playing yard darts. Tell me the analogy, Mark.
Well, it's like, sometimes you hit a dead center and sometimes you might be 10 feet off. I've had 2 deals knock on the wood, one's getting ready to close Friday and one in a few weeks. And they're significantly different in how they worked and they're in a similar price range.
Right.
But what they're looking for it's funny as my short term here, I'm seeing the week, the day has impact, even though we're seeing, all right, houses are going, we're seeing a theory for the moment is coming soon on Wednesday, Thursday, live on Friday, open house Saturday, and it's in contract no later than Monday usually.
Mhm.
But I had both scenarios go there. One, I didn't even get to my showing on Friday. Thursday, the agent calls and says, hey, we've got an offer on a strong offer on it.
Right.
And the owners are considering not even showing it. They don't want to deal with it because they're building a spec home.
Wow.
So I said, well, whoa, let me get in here because my buyer's already lost one the week before.
Right.
That went like that. So we go in and I said, well, can I get in and FaceTime them? They didn't even see it before they committed to it.
Yeah.
So that one went, fortunately, I asked the right questions and the selling realtor and myself worked together within the boundaries of the law.
Right.
And got the best deal for both parties.
Right.
Made it happen, boom, within an hour after everything.
Yeah.
The next one, this last week, I had a lead, we're nurturing, and then we're gonna sell their home too. They figured out from their banker that they can buy before they sell. So, hey, can I come look at this property? Or can you show me this property? I said, well, when are you available? He said, when? I said, all right, well, I can't get in here. Here's the window. All right, I'll meet you there. We met in an hour. We met there. It was kind of, let's just say disheartening because it was, urine smell, all kinds of things. It was almost there, but it wasn't there structurally. There was a handicap. One of the partners is handicapped.
Okay.
So we had to take that into consideration. He says, well, I saw this other one. When you see it, I said, are you free right now? I'm here for you. So we went and looked at it. I loved it. Said, can I get my wife here who happens to be handicapped? I said, well, I've explained it like 3 times that this is
They have
how the
offers.
timing's working.
Right.
Okay, there was 3 people already looked at it. They're interested, but I did know this one, there were no offers yet.
Okay.
I said, so let's either hit it tonight or tomorrow morning. I said, because by Monday,
It's gonna be gone.
it could be gone most cases. We go back and the mornings are better for her. We go back there, they bring the whole, their grandkids and everybody's going because you knew, it's that deal with
The
selling
family.
itself. You knew they were there. And I talked to him, I says, call me when the whole family's not here. Tell me what your number is. I explained, in this market, which I'm new, so I'm understanding appraisal gap. So I'm actually reassuring myself
Uh-huh.
of the knowledge. We talked about that. We talked about the offer. Go in strong now. That strength is your number, not mine.
Right.
He's asking me, and I said, I honest to God, I can't, with good faith, I can't tell you a number. So then, boom, a few hours later, we're in contract, and it's like, but there's,
Yeah.
each one had its nuances.
Yeah. Every
and-
single transaction.
In the speed in which you have.
Hey,
to
guys, I
think.
know it's hard for you, KW Synergy or anybody on Zoom. It's hard for you to respond, but by a shake of your head or a nod of your head, are you guys still seeing very strong multiple offers? 5%, 10%, 15% over asking? Yes, they're nodding their heads. Yes. Multiple offers. It's not fun. I've been through 7 shifted markets in 30+ years of being in real estate. And this market is one of my least favorite in 30+ years. It is not fun, but if you can learn to represent your client at a very high fiduciary consultant rate, guess what happens? Raving fans, clients for life, and referrals. Your job is to be that person that is the knight in shining armor that wins the deal for them, explaining and educating and being that fiduciary agent that explains and is the consultant. Maybe they don't win every time, but if you've explained and educated, they're not leaving you. They're going to stick with you, even though the inventory is extremely low and there are multiple offers. And there's only, we had one last year. It was $230,000, kiss of death price range in Hilliard Schools, great neighborhood. There's 20 buyers for every house that comes on the market in that price point. We had 36 offers. We had the seller, my best friend's daughter. We had the seller, 36 offers in 48 hours. It went for 35% over asking price. I hope those buyers never want to move from that house, at least in the first 10 or 15 years, because they're not going to get it. We're explaining to our buyers, if you pay 5, 10, 17, or 20% over asking, you better want to live in that house for 5, 7, or 10 years or longer. Otherwise, I'm going to be telling you how much money you get to bring to the closing, right? You have to have these honest conversations with people. That defines your value proposition. Honesty, trustworthiness, fiduciary consultant. All right. Guys, we have so much amazing stuff at KW with Command, with opportunities, with our smart plans. I hope you're utilizing all of the technology and tools that we have. I absolutely love Keller Williams and all of the tools that we have. So buyers want 52% say that they want their realtor, their real estate consultant to help them find the right home. 13% want them to help negotiate the terms of the sale. 11% want their realtor to help with price negotiation, and 24% are miscellaneous, other. When buyers choose an agent, the factors that they look at are that the agent is honest and trustworthy. What did I just say? 20% will only work with somebody that their friends or family or on Yelp said that this person is honest and trustworthy. Agent experience, 19%. If you're new to the real estate industry, rely on your team or the office. The experience, say that old Sue Parrish lady who taught me the other day said she's been licensed 38 years. She's been around a long time. If I have a question, I'm going to call Sue Parrish. Reputation of agents, 17%. Most of our business, almost 80% of our business is repeat and referral, because people call their family members, their coworkers. We call it the cubicle effect. They work at Nationwide and the guy in the cubicle next to them bought and sold a house with the Parrish team. And so when somebody says, who should I use as a real estate agent? He says, the guy in the cubicle next to him says, call the Parrish team. They're the best. I have a first-time home buyer meeting with somebody this Friday. He literally works at Children's Hospital in the cubicle section of the business section of Children's Hospital. And somebody that I sold a house to sits in this cubicle next to him. and somebody that my team sold a house to last year sits in this cubicle, and he got the parish team and phone number and email address from both people in the cubicles next to him. So guys, if you do a really good job for your clients and you are that honest, trustworthy real estate fiduciary consultant, your clients will sing your praises. Okay, and sellers, what sellers want from their agent, number one, help price their home competitively. Is that a hard thing to do in this market? Why? Why is it so hard?
It's not any inventory to compare it to, and or it's moving so fast, you know, it's like, all right. You said Hilliard, we just had one that we did in Hilliard, or over on the west side.
Mhm.
It had 27 offers and people went, what they got, like 25% over,
Yeah.
give or take, somewhere in that, and.
So is that a realistic comp? Is that a realistic
No.
comp? For me,
No.
if I'm now gonna price a house in the same neighborhood and I look at yours that sold 25% over asking, is an appraiser and I gonna give the same price to that property? No, we're not. We're not. So how do you price competitively in this market? Put blinders on, look at a realistic price as if the market was not an extreme seller's market. You have to go in and tell your sellers the truth. If we price it, let's say it's a $400,000 house, it should sell around 400,000 in an even market. An even market is when there's about 6 months of inventory on the books. How many months of inventory do we have on the books right now? Does anybody know? About a week. About a week. 6 months is an even market. Anything more than 6 months is a buyer's market. Anything less than 6 market is a seller's market. We're in an extreme seller's market. We have about a week of inventory. If you overprice something, it's the kiss of death right now. You have to go into your sellers and tell them the honest to God truth, show them the numbers, but guess what they're seeing? They're watching the market. Guess what they're seeing? My neighbor sold their house for 25% over asking price. My other neighbor sold their house and it was a piece of crap. It smelled. They didn't clean it. Okay, so here's an example. We put 3 houses on the market. What's today? Tuesday. 2 Thursdays ago, we put 3 houses on the market. One was 645, one was 618, and one was 324.5. The 324.5 has been a rental. I sold it to her 22 years ago. She hasn't lived in it for 9 years. It's been a rental for almost 9 years, and it was trashed. The basement's leaking. There's a hole in the side of the soffit where squirrels are inhabiting the house. It has 1991 original flooring, counters, light fixtures, bathroom vanities. It needs $50,000 worth of work. We got 6 offers on that one. 4 were investors from California. And 2 were buyers. Somebody offered $385. A buyer offered $385. Their parents were going to pay cash because they've missed out on 6 properties in the $300,000 price range. The 645 went in contract for $669, and the 618 sat. Why did it sit? Oh, for 8 days. Okay, guys, that's still a really good thing. But they called us and yelled at us every day. Why isn't my house sold? It's because it's filthy. They didn't clean it. You couldn't even open the door to the master bedroom closet because there was so much clothes and shoes on the floor, piled high.
It was $600,000.
$618,000 house, 5 levels split in Gahanna. So guys, your value proposition is to be honest and trustworthy and tell them the truth. Guys, I will price your house at 618, but this is what you have to do for me. Because here are the comps. The comps don't lie. I understand that Bob and Betty next door got 25% over asking price, but let's look at their pictures. Their house was pristine.
Would you not use the same information though? It's like, for instance, the comparative houses when the neighbor's saying, oh my God, they got this much over asking. But, and I'm using my past life's experience in sales of saying, exactly, we listed it for the right price.
Right.
And that's why they got that much interest.
Right.
And this is why we priced it this way.
Yeah. Yeah, so you, in today's market, you are going to price accordingly as if it were an even market, not an extreme seller's market, not a buyer's market, but an even market. If you price it accordingly, the price will get overbid. It will. But if you price it as if it were an extreme seller's market, guess what happens? Buyers are smart right now, guys. Buyers are watching the market just as much as your sellers are. If sellers get overzealous and a little bit greedy right now, it's the kiss of death. Now, it took 8 days to get that offer, and I'm praying it's gonna hold up in the inspection. But right now, buyer's remorse is standing at about 20%. People are getting buyer's remorse after they go in 25, 35% over asking price. They can't sleep. They wake up in the middle of the night. Whose fault is it that they paid too much for that house? Whose fault? Yours.
CNN.
It's their buyer's agent because they thought you told them that they needed to go that high to get that house. That's not always the case. All right, so sellers always want to look at, are you gonna help me price my home competitively? Who are you gonna market it to? I wanna sell it within a certain period of time. That's a great question. When you do a seller consultation and you first sit down with them, there are some amazing scripts at Keller Williams that you can use and ask quite great questions. Like if today were the moving day, was moving day, and that moving truck pulls in your driveway to load your furniture on the moving truck, what day would that be? In your mind's eye, what day would you be moving? What's important to you about that? Tell me more. What happens if you don't move on that day or that week? If they say they don't care, then they're not motivated enough. Right now, have you guys read the Shift book? The book called Shift? We're going into a shift. Keller Williams, go to Keller Inc. KELLERINK.com, kellerinc.com, or Amazon, and buy the book Shift. Or ask Obi and he'll get you one, or Buffy. And buy the book Shift. Shift was written in 2008. Anybody can tell me real quick what happened in 2008? Huh?
I said, oh, nothing.
Oh, nothing. We were at the beginning of a great recession, the greatest recession in real estate that we've ever seen. If you haven't seen it yet, watch the movie.
Big Short or something.
The Big Short,
Yeah.
thank you. The Big Short. That's exactly what happened. The financial companies, the lenders gave money to people who they never should have given money to for mortgages that couldn't afford them. And anyway, it was a housing crisis. Shift is a great book, and it's an acronym. If you haven't figured out yet, Keller Williams is full of acronyms, right? OPTL, ALC, Shift. Shift stands for Selling Houses in Fierce Times. Shift, Selling Houses in Fierce Times. 2008 to 2011 was fierce times, absolutely fierce times. But if you can learn the real estate market during an extreme, like right now, we're in an extreme seller's market. There's not a housing bubble, but there will be a correction. There absolutely will be a correction. All right. Define your value proposition. Okay, your attributes are made up of we already went through this. What sellers want. All right, factors. Okay, your knowledge. Define your value proposition. In your student manual on page 4.10, you can just start writing down your attributes. Your knowledge. If you have very little real estate knowledge, what's your background? What's your knowledge base? Where does it come from? Do you have any higher education after high school? Did you serve in the military? What's your knowledge base? What are your attributes? You know, are you committed? Are you resolute to learn this business? Are you resolute to build relationships? What are your skills? Are you really good at problem solving? Are you really good at negotiating? Remember, it's not about you, it's about your client, making sure that you turn, if they turn the spotlight on you, that you turn the spotlight back on them, right? And figure out what they're looking for. Your beliefs, what's your belief system? You know, I totally I totally connect with our belief system here at Keller Williams, which is the Y4C2TES. We added equity last year. All right, so after you define and look at your attributes, now you're going to circle the ones that align with buyers and sellers from what they value, based on what we just talked about. What do they value? Honesty and trustworthy. Then you're going to transform your value that you provide and the value of Keller Williams in your market center into benefits for your clients. So if you think integrity is a great benefit to your client, why is that? What would that do for your clients if you had really high integrity, right? So you have to transform that into benefits. Choose 3 attributes that you circled or starred in step 1, then rewrite them in terms of how they benefit your client. And examples have been provided. So if integrity, if I feel that that's a strong benefit for my client, I have high integrity, the benefit to my client is that they will get honest, dedicated service, and the assurance that I will keep to my commitments that I've made to them, right? I commit to you. So again, I cannot urge strongly enough that you sit down with a face-to-face buyer or seller consultation with every client you choose to work with. I schedule an appointment in the office, not at McDonald's, not at Starbucks, not in their living room. It's in my office, whether they're a buyer or a seller. We meet in the office for about a 1-hour consultation. And here's why. Does your doctor come to your house for a doctor's visit? Does your financial planner or attorney come to your home or apartment for a visit? No. You go to their office. You go to the doctor's office. You go to the attorney's office. You go to the banker's office or the financial planner's office. Make them come into the office. Guess what? We have a beautiful, I chose that artwork in there. If you like it, I didn't. If you don't like it, I didn't. I picked the paint colors for this, but I mean, I think we have a very nice professional office in which we work here at Keller Williams Excel. And so invite your clients to meet you where you are. It's a very professional setting. You sit down, you have a notebook that you put together or a PowerPoint, whatever you use. Do you guys, who has a buyer consultation? All right, Antonio, is it in a notebook? Is it on a PowerPoint?
We have them like created in folder, and the folder is branded.
Nice.
So it's kind of just like a packet. It's a folder, but it's
A folder with a packet, information about your team and what you can do for me as a client if I choose to work with you, the Romanelli Group. Is that the name of your team?
Yep.
The Romanelli Group. So you need to, if you want to be in that top 10% or even 20% of the real estate agents in your area, if you want to be thought of as one of the top agents, in order to become one of the top agents, you have to present yourself professionally, right? And when my daughter got in the business 12 years ago, she was 23, just like I was 23 when I got licensed. She was 23, and she showed up on the job for her first day at work in jeans. This is how I dress because of my age, because of I was taught you dress up when you're the realtor. I mean, sometimes I show homes and the realtor and the clients show up and I have no idea who the realtor is because of the way that they either dress or the way that they present themselves. I don't know who they are. They don't have a name badge on. They don't hand me their business card. So if you want to be in the top 10 or 20%, show up and look like a professional real estate consultant, right? So that's my soapbox about having a professional presentation, buyer consultation, seller consultation. Have a presentation that represents who you want to become or who you already are or who the team is that you represent. Does that make sense? All right. So now, once you transform your value into a benefit, now you're going to choose 3 examples of value that you receive from Keller Williams and your specific market center office. and rewrite them in terms of how they benefit your client. Refer to what you learned in Ignite Session 1, if needed, those 6 personal perspectives, remember those? So from, let's say the value prop from your market center is the KW app, the consumer facing KW app. Do you guys use that? Do you have that on your phone? When you're in an open house or at a restaurant, well, this is, okay, another example. We were in a restaurant, Chip and I were in a restaurant after a listing consultation about 2 months ago. And we were sitting at the bar in a restaurant on a Sunday afternoon, having a beer and watching, it was during the basketball tournament, the final, what's it?
March Madness.
Yeah, March Madness. Okay, it was during March Madness. And we're sitting at a bar at Woody's in Hilliard, on Hilliard Rome Road, having a beer and some wings. And there's a couple next to us, two stools down from me. And of course, I'm sitting there with my file folder. We're kind of going through talking about where we think we're going to price this home. So all of a sudden I realized this couple's listening to us, and I heard her say, I think they're realtors. And we're sitting there at the bar, drinking a beer, eating some wings, and I hear her say that. Well, we weren't being obnoxious. We were just having a conversation. My husband and I, what do you think they need to do to get their home ready to sell? And what price do we think that we should price this house at? So anyway, pretty soon she leans over and she goes, are you guys real estate agents? We said, we are. And she said, we're thinking about buying our first home. And I said, great, are you working with an agent? And they said, we were, but just hearing you guys talk, we think we want to switch. Will you work with buyers? Do you work with buyers? And we said, sure. I'm not going to sit there and say only if you buy 500,000 or more, have a credit score of 700 or have 20% down. I'm not going to tell her that while sitting on a bar stool drinking a beer. But we had this conversation. I said, I tell you what, we're off the clock right now, but here's our card. If you're interested in having a consultation with us, we can get together at our office on Lane Avenue and discuss how we work for our clients. So 2 weeks go by and she calls and she says, hi, this is Gigi. We met you at Woody's. My fiance and I would like to meet with you guys. So again, it's not like we sat there to pick up business at all. It was, we were having a conversation. They clearly had an unhappy relationship with the agent they were working with, or maybe didn't have a relationship yet. But I think it's because they never had a buyer consultation. I asked them when they came in, I said, so when you hired your other agent, did you have a face-to-face meeting to sit down and go over what you were looking for? And she said, no. She said, you know, it's a friend of a friend of a friend. I think that they're part-time. And they really never asked us any questions of what we're looking for. They told us to get pre-qualified at a bank. We did, and that's all. That's the extent of our conversation about what we're looking for. I'm like, oh, okay, great. But it's not great. That realtor, I said, I don't want to know their name. Don't tell me. I hope it's not one of our agents. Anyway, I implore you, if you don't already have a buyer presentation and a listing presentation, go put one together. We have templates here at Keller Williams. Again, one more thing that I complain about because there's so much, but have your team leader, your productivity coach, or your team lead on your team show you where to find that. All right. Daily success system. Again, I cannot tell you enough how strongly I feel about doing your daily 10-4. Start with your sphere. Who do you call first when you get in real estate? Who's the first person you call? Friends and family. And you ask them that if they want to buy or sell, or do they know anybody who wants to buy or sell real estate, right? Wrong. Wrong. Go gain market knowledge, become the market expert, impress your mama, call your mama and say, Mom, who do you know? No, that's not what I'm gonna say. Hey, Mom, guess what? In an even market, I mean, not an extreme seller's market, not an extreme buyer's market, but an even market, typically at the Columbus Realtors, there's about 15,000 to 20,000 homes actively on the market or coming soon. Do you know how many we have today? Mom, do you know how many we have today active on the real estate market or coming soon? 2,200. 2,200, 2,200 homes. Jen, Do you know the difference between 2,200 homes available for the buyers that are out there in all price points in central Ohio? There's 8 to 10 buyers for every home that comes on the market. Do you think my two new $2.5 million listings are going to sell? Probably. I wish I had them 6 months ago, not this week. 6 months ago was hotter than today.
Sue, we wish we had them at all.
I know, right?
Right?
Yeah, Bobby said, define my value proposition. How do I get into that price range? I
Yes.
said, one, I sold a house to 27 years ago, and the other one was a builder wannabe 34 years ago. Christy was 2 weeks old when he called me. Anyway, it's awesome. All right, ahas. What ahas do you guys have from today? Either on Zoom or in person? What ahas? About defining your value proposition. What's the first thing you guys are gonna do when you get out of here? If you're on a team, you're gonna go find out what that team's value proposition is. If you don't know what it is, shame on you, shame on them. Okay? I don't wanna know. Don't answer that question. That's a rhetorical question. So you need to find out what your value proposition is, and then you're gonna connect to it. You're gonna live it. What did I say my slogan was? My slogan? Harris team? We are in the quality of life business. We just happen to sell houses. Does that define what we do? Does that define what we do? I want to enhance your quality of life. My guy that calls Chip every day because his wife moved to Thailand and he didn't know it. She accidentally sent us an email and copied him on it. And actually, that's how she first found out. She sent us the email. Chip and Sue, I've moved to Thailand. I haven't told Scott yet. And he was copied on the email. That's how we actually found out about it. She was emailing her realtors that she'd moved to Thailand. Poor guy. And he still cries every day. Anyway, you're gonna connect to your value proposition. So somebody else give me some examples of what a value proposition might look like. How about where you are in standing as far as you or your team, as far as what position you are in the marketplace? Are you in the top 50, the top 100, the top 250? Where are you? You should know that, especially if you're really high up, right? Where's the Jansen team? Tabitha, do you know?
No,
No? Okay.
really
Go-
good.
Go find out.
I
We're
know,
really good.
When
We're
you
really
said that,
awesome.
and I was like, I should.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think last month, you move, right? We had a little over 3.4 million closed last month on my team. And so we moved up to number 87 in the Real Producers magazine. So we're number 87. But the month before we were 141. So if you know those numbers and they're really good, use them. If they're not good, don't use them, right? We worked with 62 buyers last year. That's cool. That's great. That means you're credible, right? So find your numbers, find your value proposition, and don't know it to brag. Know it to define and answer the question, what's in it for me to work with you as my real estate fiduciary consultant? What's in it for me? The platinum rule, go find out what people want and go deliver it for them. And actually, those statistics that we just shared with you, 21% of sellers want their realtor to help them price competitively. But 16% want the realtor to help them find ways to fix up their home, to sell it, to move. Those are two different answers. Those are two different people. Those are two different reasons that they want to hire a realtor, right? So know what they want and then go get it for them. All right. Just to tie that down, an important aspect of designing your value proposition is understanding what matters most to buyers and sellers, so you know how to best position yourself. So, are you guys familiar with the DISC personality assessment, DISC? So everybody has 1, 2, or 3 areas or dimensions of their personality that are much stronger than the rest. And a D is a dominant person, somebody that's very dominant. An I is an influential person, person that likes to be around people. They get their energy from people. An S is somebody who's very scheduled and steady and wants a track to run on. And a C is a very correct and compliant and competent. They want checklist. They show up with a clipboard and a checklist, and they're gonna look at each home and they're gonna make sure it checks all the boxes or most of the boxes, right? So we're always dealing with different types of personality styles in real estate. Every day we deal with different people. Find out how people make decisions and why they make decisions and what's important to them about making decisions, and go deliver your value proposition to specifically their personality style. So asking great questions like, what day would your moving truck be pulling in your driveway? Somebody that's a high I or a high D might go, oh, whenever, sometime in the next 6 months, next year, I don't care. But a high S or a high C, darn it, they're gonna know, December 15th. So what was your first name? Colin. So Colin, if I can't promise that moving truck's gonna be in your driveway on December 15th, because we don't know what the market's gonna do, what happens if you can't move on December 15th? Why is that important to you, or what happens? Asking those drilling questions, tie down questions, finding out what's important to them will also help you uncover what type of personality you're dealing with as well. It's like Scott, our client, who has this great connection with my husband, who calls him every day crying because his wife moved to Thailand. He didn't even know they had marital problems. But poor Chip is babysitting this guy, but that's okay, because we just sold his $650,000 house for $675,000. And, Chip's very happy to befriend this guy and be nice to him, because he's gonna buy another house. He moved into an apartment temporarily, but he's gonna buy another house. So
More
fine.
importantly, tell 5 other people
Exactly.
how well you guys took care of it
Exactly.
through a very traumatic point in his life.
Exactly.
And I think that's where you're talking about, but you're refined, you've been doing this for a minute. But that's where I like to take my past experience though, and you're asking, all right, when you see the moving truck, I like to get to know these people, and I take it very personal, and that's when you were talking about ahas, I'm like, I love the fact that the whole Keller Williams system really, life's pretty simple, you just do the right thing, there's not much.
We're not sending people to the moon.
There's
or
not much
curing
mud.
cancer.
There's not much mud in that, but it's nice, it's fun to get to know, what do you do on the weekend? What do you do in the evenings? Are you interested in gardening? Do you golf? Are you a fisher? Are you, all those things? I think, to me at least, they help answer some of those questions. They also soften up and solidify and make it more of a two-way relationship.
Right.
Versus, I'm just here to represent you to either buy or sell or both.
Right.
I like this, somebody told me a long time ago, is make yourself sticky.
Okay.
Make yourself
Make
sticky.
yourself sticky.
Or it's like when you have, or make a client sticky. So we would make ourselves that way. It's like when we have a client and I go in to do an enterprise solution for somebody, but they call me in to do an enterprise, but then when it's all done and after I sold the whole project, I said, all right, now let's start here. And then I have other people in the company say, dude, what are you doing? No, let's start here, perfect this, make sure that everybody's on. And then you add another one, then you add another one, then you add another one. Now you're more sticky.
I love that. Love that. So creating raving fans and customers for life, how does that relate to stickiness?
It brings value to you in the marketplace.
Mhm.
So it makes, the people that we help build the platform in which we live and work in. So the more people we help, the more in depth the crying conversations, or like I said, I was fortunate and took in the handicap situation. The more that you touch them on what their needs are, and the more you pay attention, again, the more you're top of mind in their world. So you're stickier, versus somebody that did something else for them. They're going to think, oh my God, this person took care of me. So I think you just keep improving that, and then they're gonna tell their kids, their cousins, their neighbors. and
I
their-
love that. I love that. And that, everything you just said on page 4-27, it relates to, what matters most to clients is individual, right? So maybe this person with the handicap accessible property that you're looking for them, she might be going to rehab on Thursday and telling her PT and maybe some other patients in there at rehab what a wonderful guy her realtor Mark is, and how he's listened to everything they've asked for, and he found it for them. You know, are you Ryan's brother?
Yeah.
I just put two and two together. Oh my gosh, when you smile, you look just like it. And I know your dad lives at the end of the dam.
Yeah.
By Alan, that's funny. All right. I just had to figure that out, it was gonna drive me crazy. All right,
It's okay, then their other team member will come and you'll think that there's another brother,
But
but
it's
he's
not,
not a
yeah.
brother, but he looks like another brother.
really? Oh,
Yes.
that's funny. That's
Nick,
funny.
that's his name, Nick.
Nick, but not related?
Not really.
That's
No.
hysterical. All right, so again, it goes back to what I started with. Remember when I had you stand up? My success in real estate is in direct proportion to the number of people who, when they think of real estate, they think of me. So you want Bob and Betty to think of replacement windows and think of Mark, right? You want Bob and Betty, when they think of landscaping, they think of Mark. That's what you want. That's your goal in life, is to get people to think about anything real estate related, they think of you. And why is that?
You're the expert.
Because you're the expert. You listen to them, you're the fiduciary, you consulted, you found them the best house, you got them the greatest price, they beat out 27 other offers, whatever it is, in their mind, you're the best. So that's great. Get out a blank piece of paper and take a pen or a pencil. Real quick, you have a pen, pencil? Here. All right. Everybody got a pen or pencil, a piece of paper? All right. I'm gonna give you 30 seconds, and those of you on Zoom, if you want to play along, get out a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil. And I'm gonna give you 30 seconds, and when I say go, I want you to write down every brand of toilet paper you can think of. 1, 2, 3, go. Toilet paper, brands of toilet paper. Go, 30 seconds. Do, 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 do. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, stop. How many brands of toilet paper did you think of, Tabitha?
3, and I may or may not have made one of them. I was like, I think this sounds like fun.
Colin, how many brands of toilet paper?
I have 4, but I'm not confident. I'd say it's more like 3.
3. All right, Mark.
4.
4. Antonio.
5.
5. All right. So anybody online on Zoom want to share how many brands of toilet paper?
5.
How many? 5.
5.
All right. Okay. So the average person can think of 3 brands of toilet paper, and the average person can think of 3 realtors' names at the drop of a hat when you ask them. You just want to be one of those 3. You want to be one of those 3. How can you do that? Define your value proposition. What's in it for me if I work with you? If I choose Brad to be my real estate fiduciary consultant to entrust with the largest purchase I'm ever going to make, at least today, at least this month, this year, right? How are you going to be one of those 3?
You gotta project value.
Okay, how are you gonna do that with 10,000 realtors in Central
Well,
Florida?
that's with all the everything, little efforts that we're doing, but the education, and sharing it, and And today's world is probably significantly different than when you first got into it because of the tools we have.
Right, technology and tools. Mhm. When we talk about some of the value props that our market center and our company supplies to us, Command, Antonio said, smart plans. Do you have anybody on smart plans? Yeah, those are awesome. How about the KW app, sharing the KW app? Every single person, I held an open house. I haven't held an open house since COVID started. I held my $645,000 listing open last weekend, 2 weekends ago, Saturday and Sunday for 2 hours each day. And I met 19, 20 people coming through my open house. And it was awesome. Every single one of those 19 or 20 people said they had a real estate agent. 17 of them took my app. They all had an agent, but 17 took my app. You think I might pick up 1 or 2 of those people when they get disheartened with their realtor who doesn't share an app with them, who doesn't send them new listings every week? Yeah, guys, we've got the most amazing tools. How about agent sites? You set people up on their own website, their own portal, their own search portal. Do you check it daily? For those who want to move this year, this month, next month? You've got people on searches. I got fired 2 weeks ago. I'm not proud. It was a up to $1 million for buyer. And their home is now on the market for $2.2 million in Upper Arlington. And I lost this buyer and seller because they said I didn't send them enough listings. That was their reason. Between 800 and $1.4 million, a very specific floor plan and bedroom, bathroom configuration, very specific. And I got fired because I didn't communicate enough. Guess what, guys? They were never going to be loyal to me. Never, never. And I found out by deductive reasoning, they bought an $852,000 house in Dublin with stained woodwork, which they swore they didn't want anything with stained woodwork. They only wanted painted woodwork. And then they listed with the same guy that had the listing. They were never going to be loyal to me. I'm okay with that, but it stings a little bit. I mean, that's 852 and 2.2, that's $3 million worth of business. Do the math, 3 times 3 is 90,000. Did I lose $90,000? They weren't going to be loyal. So define your value proposition. Know that you're not going to get all the business, right? You're never going to get all the business. Not everybody wants to work with you, and it's okay. The I in me that wants people to be happy and please people and like me. I want people to like me. And when they fire me, they don't like me anymore. They were never my friend. I was never going to go to dinner at their house. They were never going to come to Choctaw Lake and go to dinner at my house. I don't think I am. They're not deserving. So, not deserving of my friendship.
But that's a really good point that you were doing everything the way they told you, but they didn't know.
Right.
Like, so they were adamant what they wanted, but they didn't know.
Well, that's why we say buyers are liars.
Yeah.
Buyers are not really lying to me. They just don't know what they
They
want.
just don't know, yeah.
And they chose this house, I'm sure, because of the privacy in the backyard. There's no neighbors. And it's the fire station on Hard Road that it kind of backs to. I know, can you believe that? 850. Anyway, everything they said they didn't want, they bought. Anyway, it's okay. It's all right. All right, so how are we going to define our value proposition? How are we gonna take this and put it into a solid value proposition? Like I said, it took me a long time to come up with my value proposition and to articulate it and put it in writing. We're in the quality of life business. We just happen to sell houses. So you're getting a divorce, you're getting married. There's reasons why people buy and sell. And those don't change. It's a job loss, a job gain, a relocation, whatever it is. There's sometimes happy reasons and there's sometimes not so happy reasons, right? One of my clients woke up 2 years ago when her husband was dead in bed next to her. He was 51 years old. Had a silent heart attack in the middle of the night. She didn't even know he died. She woke up and he was dead. Do you think her life changed?
Yeah.
Profoundly. Do you think she needed to sell her house where they had raised their children? They were young empty nesters. The kids were all grown and gone. And I had to sell her house. It was awful. I felt terrible. A lot of times we become psychiatrists, social workers, psychologists, right? We pray with our clients sometimes. I mean, we go through a lot of tough stuff. Divorces. I used to be scared to death to work with people when they call and say, I'm getting a divorce. Then I realized their life is going to be so much better if they get through this chapter. And oftentimes selling the house is the last thing on the list that they have to do before they move to their next chapter. So if you're able to help, I worked with a family, that had 3 girls, and they were still all in the house. They were, the girls were 8, 10, and 12 or something. And I'd gone to high school with this guy, and they hired us after being on the market for 6 months in 2010 at $500,000 in 2010 in Upper Arlington. And the house had been on the market for a long time. They called me and said, okay, well, we're gonna fire that realtor. We wanna interview you and one other realtor, and we wanna know what you can do for us. And I walked in and the house just felt unloved. It felt like a divorce house, right? You got 3 unhappy little girls. You've got mom living in the guest bedroom, dad living in the master bedroom. All of her clothes are in the other closet. It felt like a divorce house. All the tchotchkes were down. There were no pictures anywhere. So we staged the house. I put most of mom's clothes back in the master bedroom closet. Said, deal with it. Either one of you move out or deal with it, because we can't help you. If I walk into this house and it feels like a divorce house, guess what? People feel that. And nobody wants to live in an unhappy home. You're trying to sell a $500,000 house in a tough market in 2010, in a really tough market, and it feels unloved. If I were a karma person, which I am, I'm a karma, I have to walk in and has to feel good. If I were the buyer for that house, I wouldn't live there because it doesn't feel good, right? So the reasons why people buy and sell don't change. If you have a definite, definitive, explainable value proposition, people will want to and like to work with you. And then you do a really good job for them, and they become your raving fans, and they talk about you and the job that you did for them and their family and how it helped them go on to their next chapter. And so, all right. So any other ahas or questions or thoughts? I'm a little bit early. All right. So
Next one will be shorter too.
what's that?
The next one will be a little shorter too.
You're gonna be shorter too? Okay, you're teaching that one, right? Okay, so, I guess go back to 4.29. Defining your value prop asks you to identify your knowledge, attitude, skills, and beliefs that make you qualified. Even if you're a team member, guys, you should have, what?
We don't have
The
this.
participant guide only goes up to 15.
I
Oh,
think we
does it
have
look
probably
like?
what you're talking about, but it's probably just numbered differently. Yeah, I think that's 411.
I'm sorry, 4.10 and 4.11. Yep, 10 and 11, sorry, thank you. Tabitha got a really funny look on her face.
No, it's like,
All right,
do
so
I
go
know
back.
enough for the breakfast?
Yeah, even if you're a team member, guys, you should have your own value proposition. What do you bring to the team? Because you may not always be on a team or on that team. I hope you are. But I'm not telling anybody to go back to your rainmaker and say I'm leaving the team. Antonio. So I want you to really articulate and go back. If you don't know what your team's value proposition is, go find out, or collectively as a team, define your value prop and talk about it. Because, do you guys have one?
I'm pretty sure we have one, but I.
We do, I just can't regurgitate it, but it's
Okay.
what I was sitting here thinking though, as it's, at least myself being new to this world. Is it fair to, I mean, I'm very passionate, I like, I've bought and sold 6 homes of my own in my lifetime, so is it plausible to think that in a short new beginning, we kind of help in how we act and how we converse, help define our value proposition? I mean, to me.
Yeah, because you're bringing a fresh set of eyes and mindset to the team and you're gonna look at it differently. Did you ever have a bad experience in buying or selling a home?
Absolutely.
What happened?
Actually, it was after or in the midst of a divorce.
Okay,
And it was in my first home that I bought in Coshocton. And
what was the address?
it was on, oh God, I can't remember the road now. It was on a cobblestone street, 3-story white elephant. And all the plants, everything, because it's all industrial, they were all on strike. Well, I'm going through a divorce. Back then it was a $30,000 house, 3,000, like I said, big house. And I ended up doing a land contract.
Okay,
Well, the attorney doing the land contract really wasn't on my side.
okay,
So I not only had the Franklin County courts help me out financially, but this attorney helped me out financially of gave me extra room in my pocket.
okay.
So I lost horribly. It was a horrible experience.
Wow.
I've had a couple other realtors in my life that were just like, it was like the weekend, somebody that's just doing it part-time.
Mhm.
And then I had some great ones. And then again, I've been thinking about this for years, so it's something that I've wanted to do, and life took me into a position where I had to make some moves, but it put me in the perfect spot to now focus 100% on this world, not do it
That's awesome.
part-time.
Mhm.
And so I could dive in passionately. So I want to be like a couple, there was 2 different realtors that I've used that were that way, that listened to Mark.
Ask great questions.
Even though, what's your priority is a moving target. I said privacy. Well, I'm actually a very good cook too, so a kitchen is important. So in our conversations, and that's like where I like to ask lots of questions, not to answer them.
Right.
But to learn
Mhm.
about what else do you like? You tell me this one thing, is this price point's really particular, or is this area's really particular? But if I can ask 25 other questions, it may really lend to, that's not as important as they stated it
Exactly.
was.
Exactly. If you unlayer,
Your moving question
Yeah,
might
uncover the
lead
layers.
to what's more important.
right, price, timing,
Right,
area.
so I
neighbor,
think the
privacy,
more we
location.
ask to educate ourselves on them, then embeds ourselves to become that person that we want to be.
Yeah.
And that's to really connect with them.
Yeah.
Not a transaction-based relationship, but I'm helping you make one of the largest purchases in most people's lives.
Right.
And I want to make sure that I want you to wave my flag.
Yes, absolutely. And just like the question that Obi asked originally, how do you define your market? How do you choose a market to work within or play within? Just go dip your toe into every market out there, right? New construction, relocation, whatever. Or some people define their area. I only work in this area in 43082 or whatever, our team, and whether this is smart or not smart, right now, gas, $5 a gallon, it's not smart. We work a 50-mile radius from Lane Avenue and North Star Road, where our office is located, right? We do a 50-mile radius. I'll go to London, I'll go to Marysville, I'll go to Chillicothe, Lancaster, we just listen. The reason I asked about Coshocton is my husband's from Coshocton.
Oh, really?
Yeah, grew up
Can't
on
remember it.
1419 Elm Street. His whole life, 1 block away from
I
the
think I
hospital.
lived on Elm Street
Did
when I
you?
rented, and I can't remember the name because it was Cobblestone Street, so it was a brick street, and there was a park right next door where it was like 2 or 3 lots that somebody owned in their pension plan.
Oh, how funny.
And then, well, I can't remember the name of the road. but I was-
Coshocton, oh my gosh. When I first met Chip, and it was 1979, there were 7 plants in Coshocton. They're down to 1.
Is it really, like you had,
We went to his class reunion and 7 people showed up.
I worked at Shaw Barton was my first
Shaw
place.
Barton,
That's
yeah.
where I worked when I got out of the military.
Yeah, yeah.
A union plant. I'm losing my mind after 8 years in the Marines.
yeah.
And it was culture shock to me because
Yeah.
Coshocton was always like 20 years behind the time.
Yeah, they still. Chip's dad worked at Cyclops
Cyclops,
Specialty Steel.
which is that still, it was Worthington, then it became Worthington Steel, then it was something else.
Now it's gone.
That was the place.
Conesville, they just shut down the Conesville plant.
Oh, did they?
That's where all my husband's cousins worked. Huntsville generating plant, anyway, electric plant, yeah, it's, huh?
It's Craft the last one.
Yep,
Craft is still.
yep, okay, that's the last one, because it was Shaw Barton, it was, what was the gloves?
Ansel Edmont,
Ansel Edmont,
Pretty
Sen-
Products Rubber
Huntsville
Clean,
Pretty.
which was part of Lancaster Colony Automotive.
So sad.
Yeah,
Com-
a
or,
glove factory,
Plow Pipe,
Cloud.
Stone Container, which was then bought by somebody else.
It smelled so bad,
Oh my God,
the Stone Container plant, oh, I could
that
smell the
was
shot.
the Paul stuff that they used.
All right, so again, your team, go find out what their value proposition is, and then have your own value proposition within your team, because really, especially if you have a team with several buyer's agents, some people are gonna connect with a different person better than one person. So it's easy because it's family. My husband and my daughter and I work together, and we all share in the pot, right? And so it doesn't matter if you feel more comfortable with as a buyer or a seller, if you feel more comfortable working with one of the three of us, we don't take it personally. You just connect better with a person, right? And that's huge, I think, when you have a team. So, all right, so anyway, again, this is really good material, and it's a foundational piece of building your business to become one of the top 10 or 20% agents in the industry. And you guys are all on amazing teams. And Brad, you're
What's that?
standalone.
No, I'm with Josh.
You're on Josh's team, that's right. Well, you're all on amazing teams that are all in the top 10 or 20% of the Columbus Board of Realtors, and that's huge. And defining your own value proposition is huge. Josh has recently just named his, a year ago, the Trailblazing Team. And I think that's an awesome name, and I love it. He is trailblazing. I mean, he's building his team quickly. Jill's team, she's been around forever. I've been around forever. Joe Jansen's been around forever. You know, but defining the value proposition can change as well over time, right? And so really during this shifting market that we're going into is a really good time to make sure that your value proposition is still relevant and important, because I think more than ever, buyers are in a tough position right now, depending on their price point and how solid they are. Capital, I started out by saying I only work with $500,000 and higher buyers with a 700 credit score and 20% down payment, otherwise Chip or Christie get them. I just won't, I don't have any tolerance level for buyers that are tire kickers anymore. You can't in this market. I mean, you're gonna be showing so many houses. So, does anybody want to share with the rest of the class, with the rest of the group, what you want your value proposition to say about you? What's important to you that people, what do they say? What's the most important thing in a cemetery is what's in the dash between the year you were born and the year you died. What did you leave? What happened in the dash? What do you want people to say about you? Think about it. Jot down those ideas and those thoughts. What do you want people to say that you really stood for, and why did you propel into the top 10% of the Columbus Board of Realtors agents? What do people say about you in the cubicles at Children's Hospital or Nationwide? When somebody hears your name, what do they say about you? That's your value proposition. So guys, I'm just gonna end with what I started with, that your success in real estate is in direct proportion to the number of people who, when they think of real estate, think of.
We should make that a song.
I
But we can make that a really catchy song. That's
I
good.
know, right? If I could sing, I would. All right, guys, any questions, thoughts, any further ahas? Do your homework, please. Do the daily 10-4. That's huge. If you get into the habit of doing your daily 10-4, start with your family, start with your mom or dad, start with your siblings, and learn your scripts. Scripts are invaluable. And then lead generate. lead generate and role play and practice. Because when you practice and you show up for real play, you know what to say, right? And it's best to practice on people who know you and love you. That you don't sound like an idiot when you're in real play. All right, thanks for coming, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Sue.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming. Have a great day. We've got a guest speaker coming in a few minutes here, so I'm gonna leave this on. And Tabitha Gusler is your instructor at 1 o'clock.
I think we'll probably start a new Zoom at 1 o'clock instead of leaving that one run.
At what time?
It's at 1 o'clock, so
Okay.
we'll probably end this one and start a new one. I
Perfect.
don't know if the speaker is for everybody.